Hello, Sharon. Can you hear me if you're currently there?
I can't hear you. I'm having issues with the camera on my laptop. So that's why, it's like, hi,
I
trying to
understand.
fix
That's
that.
okay. Did you have difficulty accessing the room?
No, but it was a very circuitous route to accessing the room.
Oh, okay, all right. Just making sure. Okay, I thank you very much.
No worries.
Hey, good evening, Real. Sorry you had difficulties entering. The room was open for 10 minutes or at least. So I resent the link into the same email inquiry you just sent. So hopefully
Oh, Khalid, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Real.
Okay, so sorry, I had to unmute. Because when I entered the meeting ID and the password separately, it took me to the load page, and there it said it was for the February meeting, not for the January meeting. So I'm not sure if others are having issues coming in as well. Did you send the
Oh,
link to me only?
no, I
Sharon,
sent it.
Sharon,
I
Miss Wedderburn is on. Okay, so she
right.
was able to get in.
Right. I sent in reply all, so hopefully anybody who sees that they can just click into the link and they'll
Okay,
be. I'm making you
Miss,
co-host right now. So
appreciate it. Miss Wedderburn, how did you get in?
I actually went in through the WebEx website and entered the meeting ID and then the password.
Oddly, I did the same, and it came up as a February meeting. So, well, this further cements my love of WebEx. I love
right.
it.
I have no love for it. I
Yeah,
can tell you that for a
no, I
fact.
am not. It's not great. It is not great. It's always causing me some trouble. One is, either way, I'm happy we're on. Thank you, Khalid. Appreciate it. My guess is others are having the same issue since it's 7:09,
Right.
and
Goodness.
nobody's here.
Well, in the same inquiry that you just sent, yeah, I sent in the current link, so hopefully, oh goodness, I hope that's not an issue because even on WebEx we don't have, we shouldn't have. Let me check. We should not have a February link. This last I saw.
Yeah.
Um, January 12th. Let's see.
So my big query is post-pandemic, will we meet in person or will it be, people continue to like, meeting virtually because they don't have to leave their homes?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, right? I mean, you know, there's a lot of advantages, right? But it's certainly not everything either.
Right. I'm I'm able to just be able to be more present on a more timely basis because I'm not like, rushing from the office to meeting site.
That's
But
right.
I do
That's right.
sincerely miss the interaction, the face to face, the face
Sure.
to face of meeting, So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see in the world of work, are we going to do the same thing? Because frankly,
It's,
I'm tired of them.
it's fascinating. Yeah, I actually am just now this week. I've gone into my office quite a bit,
Oh,
with my kids in tow because their classes on quarantine. They actually were not there when an exposure happened, so they're fine. But their classes in quarantine, so we can't go into school. So, you
oh,
know, but I've been in the office and I've had some moments where, and my office schedule is completely staggered. So there's always very limited number of people. Vast majority of
right.
people are remote. But there's been some wonderful interactions where I just sat with a team member for 20 minutes and talked, face to face, masked and distanced. And you realize you miss that for sure.
Right. And I mean, I've had to have some very close meetings. Um, I had to speak to someone one on one. I'm going to have to do the same thing again, and it's just this is really hard. And I'm a person who talks a lot, and it's like my mask. I can't breathe,
That's right.
but
That's right.
you're trying to
That's
be
right.
protective of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
So
and
we'll
what I've
see.
found very difficult, I smile a lot. Yeah, I'm a very expressive person, right? I
Right.
smile, and I've often had to, you realize in situation where I smile at a person and I'm not getting a response is because they don't see him smiling, right?
Right.
So it's been, yeah, it's
I've
definitely
I've
interesting.
also had to tell people it's like, okay, you have to respond to me because I have no visual cues here,
That's
because
right,
I
right,
can't see,
exactly, right, exactly
so
right.
that makes it hard as well too. But
Yeah,
I guess it just proves that, like or something like you see a kid doing something that's really cute and you smile and it's like the kid can't
that's
see
right,
you,
that's right,
the kid
that's
can't
right,
pick up
that's
that
right.
visual cue.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I run a children's program, right? And that was
Hmm.
one of the things that we had to train on. How do you cue kids that you heard what they said, and how do you cue a response to something funny or something something you enjoyed?
Yeah, yeah. I have a
Yeah.
I have a nephew that's 3 years old, and I mean, this is the point where he's, becoming really himself, and I'm like, oh, poor baby, he's gonna miss a whole lot, you know,
Mm,
because facial expressions,
yeah,
says
that's right.
more sometimes than
Sure,
talking
sure.
to them, and in a non-confrontational, just like it's like okay, they get it and they keep
Yeah,
moving,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially when they start
It's
testing boundaries.
Yeah, kids of that age, right? That there's a lot of research around how attachment plays into that, right? How you learn
Exactly,
how to, yeah, and so
exactly.
it's very interesting. If you only see faces in the comfort of your own home, but all the
Right,
other faces are covered all the time,
right,
it's
right.
fascinating.
Well,
Yeah.
I happened to have run into him back in May. I was in the supermarket and he spots me, right? So I'm like, wait a second, you're not here by yourself. Who else is here? And he
Hmm.
could not understand why I wouldn't hug him because I'm like, we're in public, it's germs. And he was just so
Hmm.
confused by that, And that's when I realized you really needed to have that interaction.
Sure, sure, for sure.
Oh, so
All right,
you sending the link seems to have done it because you see more people are coming
yeah,
on.
people are coming in, so there was a link issue. Well, I'll just blame Khalid. It's fine. I'm kidding, Khalid. It's not a big deal. These things happen. Uh,
I
And
laughed
hopefully the
too,
next
real.
time,
That's
like
funny.
my camera thing fits, because I'm loath to play tech support. But I had a printer issue today, and I spent a good deal of amount of time on it, and now I'm gonna have to
mm.
work on this camera. I think they're both fatigued.
Is it Sharon or Miss Wedderburn? Can you just
Sharon,
let me?
please. I'm
Sharon?
not
Sharon?
formal in
Okay,
the
great,
least bit.
great. Sharon, what do you do in regular
I
life?
w- I work in financial services, and I'm a corporate administrator, so I basically keep everybody out of trouble because in financial services, people like to
Right.
push boundaries. No, you
Sure,
can't.
sure.
You know.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Right. That's great. All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes, okay? Since
Okay.
folks
All right.
probably, I hope they're checking their email. Hi, Nick. Thank you. And Naomi's here. I only
Yes,
heard.
real. So I see in the original correspondence, the February meeting was sent to you all by mistake. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
why. Yeah,
Okay, it happens.
definitely. Okay.
It happens.
Hi, Rio. How
Well,
are you?
good. How are you?
Good.
Good to see. Yeah, it's great. Thanks for joining, everybody. So we'll see if other folks are going to catch um, the link correction, or have decided at 7:05 or 7:10 that they're just going to call it a night. I hope not.
I'll keep checking our office emails, so I'll be on top of that.
Yeah, I shot it out again. Push it out again just to make sure people understood wasn't just with a new subject matter, because they might have thought it was just another email. So Khalid, if we cannot get critical mass here, is it something that I'd be okay to reschedule for next week?
Uh,
If it's only right now, only have two committee members.
I see. Yes. Okay. Let me check the schedule, and you would consider for next week. Well, next week Tuesday is the executive committee meeting.
Yeah, and Monday is MLK, so that wouldn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's going to be
I
tough
I would
because
well I would suggest real that you can inquire with me to see if you want to schedule your meeting for after executive for so the 20th to the 21st, which is a Wednesday or Thursday, or you can just conduct your meeting. Of course, if there are no voting items that need to be considered, these are we'll just have the recording that the members can take a look at a later date if you wish. It's at your discretion.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to wait another month. We do have some things we want to get done, but we need to need the committee here. Let me see, because I know Melanie. She emailed me that she was attending, so I think the vast majority of people had confirmed. And Demetria is our lead on one of the main activities that we're trying to get done this month. So
There she is.
Some others are joining. Oh, there we go. Hi, Demetria.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hello, everyone.
Sorry about the mix-up, but we're slowly getting everybody in. We'll see if we can still have a meeting. Let's see.
I think people are on the other link because that's where I was trying to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. We send out an email. The February link was sent out by accident.
Okay.
Nick is here. All right, I'm going to give it 2 more minutes, okay? And then if not, we're just going to, I think we'll just have a conversation. I'm happy to reschedule as well. Oh, here's Beverly. Looks like we're slowly getting everybody in. Well, maybe we have enough people to get some work done today. Hi, Beverly. Let's see, Dimitri. Good. Okay. All right. So we don't have a quorum. See, we're missing Lorianne, Melanie, Miss Randolph, who had indicated she might not be able to make it today. Naomi's here. Oops. Dr. Adolphine is not here. Miss Parkinson Gilbert is not, has she attended? You know what? I'm actually not clear on that. And Mr. Roberts is not here. The Dexter is not here. So we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we do not have a quorum. 5 out of 11 of regular committee members. And I am not clear on whether this is a result of the link issue or whether this is a general unavailability issue. Right now, I have 5 committee members out of 11, so we do not have a quorum. How does everybody feel about moving forward today, or should we try to reschedule? I personally do not want to wait a whole month. I think we're trying to get some things done, right? I don't think we want to delay an entire month. Can I hear some other committee members chime in?
So are we voting on anything?
I don't think so.
So can we move forward? I'm okay with moving forward. If we're not voting on anything, then a quorum. Hi, Miguel. Sorry I'm late. Then a quorum
That's okay.
is not necessary.
Correct. And we can postpone the votes on the minutes. That's fine. We had been working on finalizing a mission statement that I do think we ought to vote on as a matter of practice, but that's also something that can be delayed. So I'm happy to get going.
But Rio, can I interrupt just for a second? And this may sound cruel, and I apologize if it does. But to be a part, we have to make an effort, and we shouldn't hold things up for people who haven't made an effort, who appear to have not made an effort.
Sure, Beverly, I entirely agree with that. If it wasn't for the glitch with the link today, that's the only
Okay,
reason I'm
I
making an
understand. Sorry about
accommodation.
that.
Right. So that's
Okay.
really the only reason, because I'm not entirely clear whether the missing people are a result of not being able to get in and not seeing the email, right, with the corrected link,
And I
or
was
whether,
reminded.
yeah.
I have to admit
So,
that. I was
yeah.
reported. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Not a big deal. Okay. So welcome everybody. Happy New Year. Let's start there. Thank you for those of you who are able to join, and welcome Ada and Sharon. Sharon from CB8, Ada from CB9, our community member, right? Welcome, and always happy to have you. I do not. So let's start with a roll call, and then let's get our meeting underway. And perhaps there are some people who will join later on. We'll get to a quorum, but as Beverly pointed out, I don't think we need it for some of the items that we're working on today. Okay, quick roll call. Nick. Well, Nick is on my list, but is not responsive. So I do want to make sure that people are, in fact, present and able to participate. Demetria.
Hello, hello everyone. How are you?
Nick is in. Great. Hi, Nick. Hi, Demetria. Beverly.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Naomi.
Hello. Naomi.
Hi, Naomi. And then let's see. Hi. And then let's see. I have Ada. And Ada, you still here? Community member, right?
Ada.
Yeah, Ada, how are you?
Good.
Nice to have you. Good. And Sharon from CB8. Okay.
I'm here as well.
Good. Great. Welcome, Sharon. Great to have you again. And I look forward to connecting more. So let's, I'm just going to follow the agenda. I'll take minutes for today, since it is just only a handful of us. Is everybody okay with that?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless somebody wants to wrestle out of my hands, I'm happy to hand it over, but I'm also happy to do it. Okay, we're going to skip the minutes from the prior meeting. In November and December minutes were sent out. So they still have to be approved. We're going to move that forward because we do not have a quorum. So we'll have November, December, and oh, you know what? That is wrong. I'm saying that wrong. It is October. No, I'm sorry. I'm waffling. November and December was sent out. That is correct. And so we are. We can vote in November, December, and January next time. Okay. So we'll move that forward. All right, we're going to move on to our second agenda item. We have a number of topic reports. We'll just quickly run through these and see if there's anything to report on from any of the leads on those topics. First topic, chair report and CEC 17. I have not been as close to CEC 17 as I would like to. I think if there's anybody else on the committee who'd like to speak to it, please do. I know I signed up for a Carranza CEC 17 town hall on Thursday. So I look forward to see what the updates are from Chancellor Carranza as it relates to any kind of the school support issues. And similarly, I've not. I had to miss, unfortunately, or accidentally missed a roundtable with after-school providers that I attend every Thursday typically, and so. That too, I'm going to have to postpone until I attend it again on Thursday and to see if there's any updates as far as DYCD and any other after-school programs go, and any other issues that schools are reporting. Is there anybody that has anything to add as far as CEC 17 and or after-school concerns?
You said what you said again about CEC? I'm sorry.
Is there anything that wants to add anything in terms of? I've not been able to attend any of the recent CEC gatherings. Their minutes
Okay.
are actually not up to date on their website, so I'm going to send them an email later because the minutes they end at some point in 2019, I think. So
Okay.
I've not been able to catch up reading their minutes. Naomi, do you have any updates?
What one of the things is that yesterday they had a from our Title I committee meeting. So our business meeting is tomorrow, where you won't be able to, you can listen in, but you won't be able to speak. And our calendar meeting, if I'm not mistaken, will be the 19th of January.
Okay.
And that meeting will be from the presentation will be from School Construction Authority.
Okay.
And if just to give you a little outlook of what school construction is, that is the School Construction Authority is the authority within the DOE that gives money for any type of brick and mortar construction that needs to be done in our schools. So all the schools within District 17, they all give us an update of what they need. So let's say, for example, I'll use middle school 484. They need a computer lab, and then there's other schools that need various enough of other things. And we try to give at least the top 5, which are the worst that can get up on the construction. But then also there's another. If you're not able to get on that part, there's something called Resaway, where they also give a grant through the DOE for construction, and then the borough president's office also has a grant for school construction or nonprofit construction. So I mean, those are the things. They're going to be talking about the School Construction Authority tomorrow, and just probably some new agendas coming up for the later months of the school year.
Yep. I'll do my best to join some of those meetings. They've been pretty much in conflict with some of my other agendas, but I have them on my calendar, but they often conflict with evening meetings.
No. Do you want me to ask the admin to send you some recent minutes? If you like, I can ask her to forward you.
I would greatly appreciate that.
Okay, so I'll send her an email tonight, so she can probably have it to you before the end of the week.
That's
and then
great.
You can just go over it. And if like I said, any questions or whatever you need to, beautiful. Any questions? Hi, baby. Thank you. Any questions or anything? Any questions or anything? I'll have them forwarded. I'll try to get you in touch with whoever you need to, or if you want to relay something through me, I'll get it to whoever needs to get to.
Okay, great. Anything else CEC related that anybody wants to add? Okay. And circling back for one moment, I typically just make this announcement at the beginning. Sharon, Ada, since it's only the two of you, feel free to just to participate in the meeting. Okay, we don't have to wait for a more formal public session, or I'm sorry, public comment. Okay. An additional item that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, that the discretionary funding applications for the various council members are going to be opening soon. They typically open sometime, I forgot the exact date, but sometime early February. The Economic Development Committee in the past has had success with attracting some modest discretionary funds from local council members. The question is, there's Melanie. Hi, Melanie. Thank you for joining. And so if there's anything that we can think of, that any kind of initiative, and I think we'll talk in a little bit more about some of the school needs that we still need to identify. But if there were a specific initiative that we can foresee some funding for, then we could consider writing for some discretionary funds from some of our council members. I don't have any insight, and I welcome anybody else. I don't have any insight in whether any of those typical discretionary funds even going to be available, but the applications will open in the next couple of weeks. And hi, Melanie, I saw you come in. Thanks for joining. Oh, she's not fully showing up yet, I think. It's okay. All right. Moving on. Next topic, after school. I mentioned already, I don't have any updates there. I'm looking forward to hearing from Chancellor Carranza on Thursday, whether the DOE has given any more thought to how they're going to support after school programs as the academic calendar progresses. I think it's been one of the sore missing items. Certainly from kind of my own mini sample and the number of schools that I work with in my day job, after school and kind of extended day support has been a major issue that continues to be unaddressed. So I'm looking forward to hearing the Chancellor speak to that on Thursday, and have submitted a question to that extent. Any comments or questions about after school? Great. Next topic, the library. Either Demetria, Mr. Robert, or Lorianne. I think Mr. Robert and Lorianne are not available. Any updates from the library that we should be aware of?
Okay. The only updates I really have, first I want to say I'm sorry that we had to reschedule the first event, but because of the weather and it was really cold, we really thought it would be better to reschedule. So I guess now we have to start thinking about a new date for the event when the weather is a little bit warmer. And since the vaccines are rolling out right now, I think that might be really good for us. So we don't have to worry about, all of the other details that we had. But I want to update and say I do have 100 book bags for the book drive. They're orange little knapsacks for the kids. I don't know if you guys want to put like some type of logo or something on it. But we have time since we're going to choose a new date. So we do have some time to think about what we're going to put on those bags. And I have some more books. And that's it. I think we just need to come up with a new date in the future where the weather is a little bit warmer and being outside is, bearable for us. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts. And by the way, Demetria, I thought it was the right choice. Beverly, I'm not sure if did the market end up happening? And by the way, go ahead.
Even though I wanted it to go forward, the vendors felt differently, so we ended up not doing the market.
Sure. Yeah, understandable. Yeah, and for your information, I think I mentioned in the email, I ended the year 2020 in full quarantine with my kids, and I entered 21 in full quarantine with my kids. So I've been homebound. So unfortunately, I was not able to participate either. Yeah, we're having a good time together. It's all right. Can't complain about spending time with my kids. Demetria, well, so let's just pause on that for one moment. If there's nothing else, library wise, let's just finish the topics, and then we'll get to discussing the book giveaway in more detail and deciding when and where we want to schedule it. Finishing up the topics, we still do not have a youth and education liaison. I think that's
what I was, Riel. I'm sorry.
Oh, you are. You know what? You are right, and I didn't note that here properly, Beverly. Thank you. Any updates from youth and education?
Yes. So I reached out to, I attended the youth committee, and forgive the echo because I'm door knocking as well. So I attended let me look at my notes. Just give me 1 second, please. The youth committee, they're working on a couple things, but they also talked about their most recent event, the one with the shout out or the
youth
one with the
speak out.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. They had the
Yeah.
youth speak out. Give me 1 second so I can pull up my notes. I was getting ready to say, Rio, you didn't know I volunteered? Okay, I'll pretend I didn't.
I neglected to read the December minutes.
That's okay. So the youth committee is going to be doing a financial literacy event. And it's going to be inclusive of employment opportunities. I don't have a date for that. Hold on, yes it did. It's April 6th. Financial literacy at 5 p.m. So they're looking for people the person who's appointed for that is Rashida. But she could always use extra hands because she has a lot going on as well, like all of us do. So if there's someone on this committee or this that wants to participate in that, I'm sure she'll appreciate the help. Ada was also there, so if she can supplement this, that would be great. Because I just wrote the basics that I thought this committee would be interested in if we wanted to participate in the financial literacy thing, and if we wanted to offer our support.
Okay. Great. Ada, are you part of that committee, or you just
Yes.
participate?
Yes.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the committee. I'm some part of the committee. The only thing to add to is just everybody commented on the youth speak out. And I think in total it was 50 participants. I think that included some adults also, but for the most part, everybody thought it went great. The participation was great. The youth that we had there was great. And on a whole, it was really, really a good event. Definitely going to have another one again. And yes, we're moving on to the financial literacy event.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard some reports after the fact that it was a wonderful event. Well done.
So you're having a liaison between youth and education? Is that how? And is the reciprocity? I mean, it's going to be a liaison. I mean, what's what with that? So
well, I think so we just know what they're up to, and then we can decide whether there's any reason for coordination or collaboration at any point. Typically, I think the youth committee focuses on has decided its focus on older youth, right? Mostly high school youth, whereas the education committee, I think, focuses its outreach as well, mostly on elementary schools. But to the extent collaboration and coordination is possible, that's really all. So we'll let's make sure that one of our committees stays in touch or keeps the ear to the ground on what youth and education is up to. Okay, thank you, Beverly. The Richardson Liaison Committee, Ms. Randolph, I spoke to her briefly over the phone today. She was not able to make it today, and she said she would have updates by next meeting. Finally, the CB8 liaison role, Sharon and I will connect and have been trying to connect. I've not done it yet, but she's joining us today, and we will coordinate. And Sharon, if at any point, either now or later in the meeting, you want to speak to any of the work that CB8 is doing, we'd love to hear what you're up to. Okay. So we'll just we'll get back to that. All right. So we are, by the way, we do have a quorum now, if I'm not mistaken. Give me a second. Yes, we do. No, we don't. We still don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we do. Okay. Just in case. Now, can anybody remind me where we left off our conversation and discussion on trying to pin down and vote on a mission statement for this committee? Melanie, I see you talk, but you're on mute, I think.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, we did develop a mission statement at the last meeting, and it was in a December minute.
December minutes. So I'm going to grab it for a second. And did we finalize it? And where did we leave that off? There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right, so then in that case, we don't need to get back to that at this point. I wasn't entirely clear and had not seen that in the December minutes. Okay. Okay, so we don't need to do anything with that at this point then, if that was completed. All right, let's get to our project. So we had a number. We had a tentative agenda that got disrupted immediately in December, so we can get back to that. Let's, Demetria, let's pick up the conversation on the book giveaway. And anybody else thoughts on how we want to reorganize around that?
So I was saying that we have to choose a new date for the book giveaway, and I guess a new place for the book giveaway. I was hoping to do it when the weather is a little bit warmer, so that way we would not have to cancel again. And so I was thinking the springtime, choose a date in the springtime for the book giveaway, and either join another event in the community or just have our own event. So I wanted to get some feedback on that. And also I have the bags. I have the orange bags for the books now. And I wanted to know if you guys want to put the logo, the CB9 logo on the bags, or should we put some type of reading club or something like that on the bag, or just leave it plain. So we have that option because we have time now to do printing if you want to. So that's pretty much what I have for an update. We have to come up with a new date and a new place, or we could still have the same location. The location is fine with me if Evansville is going to have some type of spring event or Mega Evers. We could just join that event on a Saturday. That would be fine with me.
Other thoughts of the committee members?
I know that Mr. Richard Green has the food giveaway that he does. I think it's on Wednesdays. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ebbetsfield. But I know he gives away food. It's a specific day throughout the week, but I think it's a weekday.
After school. Is it during? Do you know if it's during the school day or after school?
It's like after school, I believe. I'm sorry. I would have to get more information because I know my mother goes.
Okay, because we can join any event or start our own. We have enough books. We have 100 knapsacks. We have the orange, which is the color for the CB9. We have bookmarks, and we have enough to have our own event or just join another event where there will be a lot of people from the community that we can actually give out the books, have a book giveaway for the children. So we have that option. We have enough time to plan. I was thinking when the weather is a little bit warmer, like in the spring, that would be much nicer. Then we would not risk having to cancel because of bad weather. So I wanted to get some feedback on if anyone knows about any spring events, whether we could choose a new date, a new place, a new location, or we could still do Evansville. Evansville was fine with me from before. I figure by the next meeting we'll have a new date and a new location, or the same location.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of perhaps just combining it with another event that is going on in the community and seeing what is out there. Also, I personally agree with perhaps waiting until it's a little bit warmer unless people feel that of course, this was meant to coincide with the kind of holiday season, right? So with that out of the way, I'm not sure if it's urgent necessarily to to get this done, and so maybe waiting until it's a little bit warmer makes sense.
So do you guys think that we should put the logo, the CB9 logo, on the bags? The little like camp bags with the string for the kids to put the books in. We could put the logo on it if it's not too much trouble.
How would you put the logo on? I'm not sure. How would you go?
I'm not sure. I was gonna ask Mia if she because they have to give us the logo too. I'm not really sure how, but I could find out how we could put the logo on and maybe put spring reading or summer reading or library committee, something on the back on top of the logo, and then put the books, by level into the bag with the bookmarks and other items that we have to give away at the book drive. Or we could do the book drive at the spelling bee if you guys want to do that also. It depends on what other events we have, if we can combine it with something else.
This is Naomi speaking. Hi, everybody on the call. How y'all doing? I wanted to say maybe if we can probably do it by the midwinter recess when the kids get ready to get off, because that'll be the week of February 15th to the 19th. They'll be out of school. And we can do that, or we could do it for Easter recess, which is March, the ending of March to don't quote me, but I think March 26th to April 2nd. That's another week that they'll be out. And that when they get those books, it will be very detrimental to have with their work that they can use from our committee. Secondly, maybe if we don't put a logo on a bag, we can put a flyer informing people about our committee on the community board, and see if we can get more people who might want to join or want to volunteer for another event that we have. So that's just my 2 suggestions.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay, I'm just quickly pulling up the New York City school calendar. Let's see, midwinter recess is February 15 through 19. I
think that we might have weather issues. That's what I'm concerned about. Those storms that come up, that when the weather is bad, I don't want to keep canceling.
Mm-hmm. Can we think? Are there any locations that are perhaps outside but covered? Is that the? Yeah, I actually never been on the patio either that the event was supposed to be at. Wherever we were supposed to be in December. Was that covered, Beverly? At Ebbets Field?
No, it's not covered. No, it's not covered.
Okay.
People can bring their own tent. It can be tented if people have their own, but no.
This is Naomi again. How about using one of the playgrounds that are not accessible? It's like a public. I mean, I don't know how to get in contact with the, how to use it, but maybe using one of the school playgrounds where the kids, where kids usually will frequent on a nice day or a day towards Easter or whatever, because it's a public space and you don't want to, if there's nothing where you can say like, if I want to use it today, it can be something that's open to the community, because you don't want it to just look like it's closed to everybody if you take it to one place, because if they can't make it to that one place, then they're hindered not getting a book. You don't want that to happen.
In fact, that's a great idea. I'm a member of the Parks, Recreation and Culture Committee, and one of the propositions to make this legislation is, all the playground and park that's there is to schedule CB9 events to as many of these playgrounds as possible. from now, I'm doing a new calendar, but spend as many as them. That way, we can use it to do feeding for CB9 for this particular part in that community. And I think this is something, if you work with, that the tax committee can incorporate that part of the proposition. I'm planning to make that they do events. We try to reach each of the parts that we're supposed to be working with.
Yeah, I mean, look, Demetria, I certainly understand the concern around the weather and the cold, but I also really like the idea of getting something out to kids just before the break, right? And we could certainly plan a date and a rain date, right up front. I think as events do, right? Just to upfront say if the weather is really bad, we'll switch it to this date, whether it's the next day or the next weekend. I'm just looking at the calendar quickly. The 15th, so the break starts on the 15th, right? 15th of February on a Monday. It's that week, the 15th to the 19th. Do we want to try it the weekend before, or the weekend before that, or we just do something? Say we either try it for Saturday, February 6th, or have Saturday, February 13th as a rain date, and then you get in just before the break. Thoughts?
So we want to do the break?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, I said I think that's plausible because you have the rain date afterwards, and then if it's a success, or even if it's not as half as you want, you have another break in March to see or assess what went well and what didn't go well.
Yeah, look, and maybe it's a great success, and then you say, you know what, we have a month and a half to get more books, right, and get ready for the next break.
Okay. So do you guys want to try the February 13th, that Valentine's weekend?
Well, so I would say do the 6th, and then have the 13th as a rain date, so you are certain to get in before the break.
And then
Just going to take a look at my own calendar for the 6th for a second.
What schools are we looking at? High schools, middle schools?
Well, it's all elementary school reading, right? Largely elementary school reading, Demetria?
We have books on all levels. So we have books on all levels.
Okay.
Young adults, we have elementary, some pre-K, and also I have more books that I'm going to pick up also. So we have tons of books.
That's great.
And so we have a lot of different levels. And so I put down February.
Are we still looking at having it near a school then?
That's the problem. We're trying to find a location.
What's a good
location? There's a park. You know where Jackie Robinson Middle School is?
Yeah, McDonald's.
Yes. Beside that school, there's a park, and it's not overseen by the school. It's overseen by Parks.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware that Parks was in charge of it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Parks is in charge of it, and even though the school uses it as a playground, sometimes because it's so close, Parks is in charge of it.
What's the address of the cross street for that, Beverly?
It's between McKeever and Franklin.
And
it's
that's
on
what
Montgomery between McKeever. It's on Montgomery between McKeever and Franklin.
But that's what I was
saying. Schools.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, there are 3 schools inside of that structure.
Yeah, the one with the
because Trailblazers used to be there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Behind the school.
But that's what I was suggesting that use the parks because they're open, and we have these playgrounds that are not being utilized because it's depending on the school community or the community itself, they're not utilizing it, and it would be a perfect place to use as this book giveaway. Because if you decide I might want to get some information or maybe make a suggestion for something else, or how can I get involved? So that's what I was saying about the parks, because you have numerous schools with these small little parks with the schools attached to them.
So
And
that's
So if you
why
have
Is that right by the patio? That's right by the patio, right?
yes.
Right
Well,
across
no.
from the
Well, yes. It's Evansville is on one side of McKeever. The park is on the other side. But remember also too, we have a park on the corner of Washington and Eastern Parkway in front of Clara Barton and the School for the Deaf. So there's a park there as well. So I don't know what age group of school that you're looking at, but those are two.
Okay, so we're not really looking at the age group of the school because we have books on all levels. So we're looking for people in the community to the outreach in terms of being able to reach as many people in the community as possible. So, so I'm trying to find a location where we can reach a lot of people because we have books on all levels.
Okay, so those two, the one that we were discussing before is near Jackie Robinson Middle School. And as Riel knows, there are 3 schools inside that structure. And I can't remember the park on the corner of Washington, but it's named after the first Black astronaut. And
By the museum. By the museum?
right, by the Brooklyn Museum. And that is yes, that sounds right. That's right. And it's across from 2 high schools. So, and there's a charter school in one of those as well.
Yeah. My sense would be that the Jackie Robinson location is more central to the community.
Okay.
The other is closer to the museum, right? That borders another community. There's also a lot of non-community traffic, if you will,
Right.
there.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'd be in favor of the Jackie Robinson, that playground. And on parks, I actually just received notification from Parks just a couple of days ago that they're kind of restarting the whole permitting process. If we would organize an event like that, we wouldn't need to get permitted for that day.
Okay.
Given that and this is just a suggestion, given that we are providing a community service and it's not a private event, aren't there some circumstances under which Park waives that $25 fee?
They do. Yeah, I think you can get that waived, but it's just more a gathering issue, right? That you have to get a permit for gathering of groups.
Oh, okay.
And also MS61 has a park also on Empire between New York Avenue and Nostrand Avenue. There's a park behind the school also. So that also could be a location that we can consider. Because we don't want to have just one boat drive. We want to have more than one. So we need to have some locations to think about. That's another location that do you guys know that park?
Mm-hmm. So
I know that part. Yeah, I know that
So I'm in touch with the permitting office, so I can shoot them an email this week and ask them about what the permitting process would look like for either one of those locations.
We want to
Because the MS61 that you mentioned is on Sterling, right? The Sterling, and actually you can enter from both sides. You can enter Sterling on an
Empire also. We want to be where we can get to a lot of people in the community to be able to reach a lot of. I think
that's also a great central location.
Yeah, too. I'm not sure. If MS2 does MS2 have a park, a playground? They may have one.
Which one?
MS2 on Parkside.
I'm not sure what park. Familiar with the school, but I guess they have the little playground at the school there on Parkside and Nostrand.
Are you talking? You're talking about MS2, right across from the CVS, by Parkside Avenue and Nostrand.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a school playground.
I would have called that an open space. There's a playground that's on Clarkson and New York Avenue, right across from Kings County, next to the gas station, BP gas station. Right. But for the block of Parkside and the school you were talking about, we've had events in there before. I wouldn't call it a big playground, more just like their open space, open yard. Wait, are you talking about wait a minute, the playground that's further inside of the block? My apologies. Where is it? It's like maybe closer to Rogers Avenue.
There's closer to no.
Yeah, I think that I'd say they're too far south. The MS61 that Demetra mentioned, and the Medgar Evers Middle School site. I think they're more central for our community.
Yeah, you're right. Right, I would agree. There's also there's also a school, and I always neglect their name. I think it's like IS or 70. They're on Empire Boulevard, going towards Utica Avenue. But I know it's not as central to the district as what you're looking for. But that's also a suggestion. They have a playground there as well.
PS 221.
PS 221. Right,
That's right.
correct.
That's 221 exactly. Right.
Nice playground. I don't know how much traffic you would get in terms of giving out the books at that location, but that's a nice playground.
Right.
And is it a playground or school? Is it schoolyard? The school playground.
My son goes to that school. It's an open playground. It's a public playground.
Open playground? Okay. Public playground? Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget that unless this was already brought up and I missed it, MS61 has their playground right behind the school as well on Sterling. Maybe you all have that. Right.
Sorry, Khalid, say that again.
MS61, where we used to have our monthly board meetings in person, behind there's the playground.
Yes, I think that's also a good location. So how about I reach out to permitting and inquire about these two options: the PS 221 public playground, the MS61 park, and the Medgar Evers Middle School park, and get an idea whether we'd be able to stage and be able to put up a pop-up canopy for groups to walk through, because it's not a large gathering where people stay, right? It's more like a pass through. You have an opportunity to get something and then move on.
Right.
That sounds good. That would be good.
Okay. Yep. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
Because
I agree.
I agree.
Great. So we are not meeting before then, so we would have to have some communication over email before then. But we can. So we're going to tentatively schedule February 6th with a rain date of February 13th in one of these three locations. Any time that we want to decide on now?
I would say you don't want to put it too early because no one's going to come out. But I would say it's 12 noon to 3 p.m. Okay? 3 hours?
That sounds like my time.
12 to 3.
12 to 3. Okay.
Is this on a Saturday?
Saturday, February 6th, with a rain date of Saturday, February 13th.
And we're starting at 12?
That's too late, you think?
Yeah.
Think so?
I mean, okay, you know what? I think so, but then I must also say I am an early riser. So
Well, Miss Beverly on a Saturday. Miss Beverly on a Saturday, this is Naomi speaking. On a Saturday, I'm trying to get the rest that I need from the week that I've had. So me being a member, I'm not going to guarantee that I'll be there at 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning because it's a Saturday and I just been through the school week with remote or no remote. You know what I mean? So
Miss Naomi, we make an agreement that since I'm an early riser, I'll fill in until you get there. How about that?
That sounds perfect. But what time are you talking?
So I noticed that people, especially people with kids, they're up early. They're in the park early. They're at the grocery store early. So 10 o'clock is kind of what I was looking at. So we can grab the early risers and then the latecomers can come in at 12. That's when you, Miss Naomi, would come in.
How about look? I I'll give you one better. How about 11?
Okay.
11, I think is mid. You know, it's like brunch.
Okay,
It's
11 to 3?
Yeah,
Let's
11
do 11 to 2
sounds
then,
perfect.
3 hours. 11 to 2, we stick to 3
Oh, 11 to
hours
2
instead of
sounds better.
3, do 11 to 2.
So 11 to 2, you guys think?
Great.
11 to 2?
Yeah, everybody in agreement with that?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, because if it's cold, we might not be able to stay outside more than a few hours.
Good
Yeah, I think
point.
3 hours seems a good, and we can, you know, to Beverly and Naomi's point, we can just rotate, right? Everybody can just take an hour, you know, so you
Right.
don't have to stand out there too long.
Listen, put your long johns on. You'll be okay.
That's right,
But
exactly.
not
What do
only
they
that
say?
too.
You know, what's
If
the
we let
expression?
people
There's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothes. You know, we'll layer up.
right. But if we
I
let people think
am
we're
in
gonna be
agreement with that. Bad clothes, yes. Put your
if we let people
on.
if we let people think we're gonna be there all day, they'll take all day to come as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
3 hours, 11 to 2, I think is
Yes.
good. Is to the point. Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Who produced the flyer last time? Was that Mia?
Yes.
Yes.
Who can communicate with Mia to get this flyer updated?
I could send her an email. She could use the same one, just change the date on it. Because the flyer was really nice.
I'll let Mia know tomorrow that you're looking to use the similar flyer, but just updated, right?
Yeah, and we'll have to get some details finalized, but I'll do that as soon as I hear back from permitting. Okay. All right. Anything on this event?
Yeah, I was saying maybe that maybe can
I think they're usually pretty good with those things, right? Have some hot chocolate, some munchkins, maybe. I'm also happy to
the
donate
Dunkin'
some munchkins, some things to the tables.
The Dunkin' Donuts on Flatbush and on Empire and Flatbush, not the one on Bedford and Montgomery. Because the one on Flatbush and Empire is usually generous. The one on Bedford and Montgomery, not so much.
Who said that? Melanie, do you want to get some coffee from them on the day of?
I go to Montgomery first and then Flatbush.
Okay.
But you don't want to support a community initiative.
Thank you. That was my point exactly.
You're gonna find out today.
Okay.
This is just how you know.
No, so where Montgomery?
That's fine.
What did you say? Montgomery and Bedford? There's a Dunkin' Donuts there?
Guerra, how are you? Happy New Year. What is called that since last year?
One on Montgomery and Bedford. It's been there maybe 2-3 years.
Talk about a couple of things.
Yeah, I haven't been to that.
Same block as Rite Aid.
Well, let's do the first one first. I think I seen it texted by the.
Yeah, I never been to that one.
Yes, same block as Rite Aid. You're right. You pass it, and then the Rite Aid is next.
Okay. Got it.
Who's more friendly though, for real?
I
Like,
think that the guy that transferred from Sephora.
Nick,
Oh, you-
I'm gonna.
One other one, but this guy's company is very loaded. I think.
Oh, Nicholas isn't talking to us. Okay, Melanie.
No.
The one that's more friendly is the one. The one that's on more friendly is the one that's on Flatbush and Empire.
Okay, well,
That one is more friendly. They don't. Just so you know, we reach out to the community for our patio parties.
yeah.
And that is the one that always donates. The one that on Bedford and Montgomery never donate.
Okay.
And this was before COVID. So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I will admit I don't really get many smiles in there. Not, my kids tend to go in there every now and then. But yes, they need to be checked. I just can't stand. Anyway, that's another conversation. All right.
But check them, Melanie. Go ahead, check them. I've gotten frustrated with them.
Can I
Our support.
Can I ask a question? This is Naomi again. I wanted to know, are we going to do anything in regards to the high schoolers going to college, like any college fairs, or are we attending or showing some type of college fair? This just a question from me.
So let's hold on to that for 1 second. Let's wrap this up. We're going to get to some kind of other ideas. Although I think there's probably a quick answer to your question. Let's wrap up the book giveaway.
Yes.
Is there anything else that we need for this book giveaway? Anything else we need to discuss?
Do you want to invite some other people to set up their tables as well to give out information? We did have someone from Alika Samuel's office that was supposed to come when we canceled.
Oh yeah,
when we
yeah.
scheduled. So do you think we should reach out to that person and find out if he would like to come to share information? He was going to set up an info table with information on social services, resources, and mental health. That's what his table was going to be.
Yeah, he was gonna do the PPEs.
Yeah, Mr.
Oh,
Cummings
that's right.
from Alika
Yeah.
Samuel's office. We can invite him maybe if he wants to set up his
Yep.
table.
I think it would be good to keep it focused to just kind of official tables, right? So either council members, would CB8 want to be there? Just obviously that's kind of we're bordering anyway. Not sure if that's perhaps makes sense. Sharon, if you want to chime in on that.
So I definitely I'd go back to my committee, and of course we're always interested in collaboration. I was going to wait until a little bit later in the meeting, as Naomi had brought up. Are we doing anything for students that are stepping up? And there's been discussion in the board 8 meetings about having some meeting about the transition, specifically elementary school to middle school to high school. And then when it comes to high school, for students that aren't pursuing higher education, to make sure that they are aware of what job opportunities in this market, but job opportunities nonetheless.
Yep.
So that's a TBD.
Yeah, and Sharon, if I may, in CB8, is the youth committee and the education committee one, or are there separate committees as well?
It's one committee. And just in terms of me making a report, because, we change boards in June, one of the things that I'd like to recommend to the new incoming board is to actually separate the committees again.
Really?
Just because the education committee, specifically me, is very focused on policy. And if you're focused on New York City Board of Education, Department of Education policy, it tends to drown out the youth. But we have a much larger committee than we've had in previous years, but we're meeting remotely. So just having that sense of really what's going on is a little bit difficult, navigating a new landscape.
Yeah, I think that's probably something that the CB9 will need to consider on how to move forward, because I think in the last year or so, the sense was that perhaps the youth and the education committee should be one, because that is something that seems to be that way for most community boards, but perhaps not. Perhaps not. The world has changed a little bit, and the way these committees can run has changed a little bit. So I think that's helpful information. I know your current chair, Mr. Baptiste, had indicated to me a couple of months ago that his intention would be to merge them again, but perhaps that's not the right answer.
What we found in our committee is that there's not the requisite amount of synergy. We have new members, and we have new members, and that could change the dynamics. But longer tenured members were painfully engaged with the hollowing out of our schools to accommodate new schools. So just looking at making sure that when DOE does space planning, that they don't do any space planning, i.e. co-locating a school in a building that will be detrimental to the existing traditional public schools. And just working from the policy side of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because and especially like when we talk about school construction authority things, longer term, because making sure that people understand the difference between making a Reso A request, You can't just don't ask for curtains because you need curtains in the auditorium. But if you ask for seats in, new seats in the auditorium, then you have to do new flooring in the auditorium because our school buildings tend to be older and have asbestos, which would require a careful request to school construction authority. Because the one thing for certain is you will get what you ask for, and if you don't ask for the correct thing, you won't get anything.
Right. Yeah. My understanding is also that any of those requests, especially when it comes to larger construction projects, they have several year running time on them.
Exactly. And you have to, even though you might get a thumbs up for a particular request, it's dependent upon the member to appropriately fund it, meaning the council member for that particular school to properly fund that.
Right. And then you have to start the process, right? And the process might take several years before there's any flooring removed or anything done.
So one of the things I always tell my members is to not just look at the PEP meetings, but they have contract meetings before the PEP meetings. So PEP meetings are on Wednesday, they have the contract meetings on Monday, just so you can start to understand like how things are being funded. And looking at where they're being funded and again, of course, what vendors are seeming to do work that you need to be done, or you're seeing vendors working in other communities that we don't have here within because Board 8 covers districts 13, 16, and 17. Most of the schools are district 17, but we have the outliers with 13 and 16.
Yeah, I think this is, and I think you might realize that from a couple months ago. So this committee is really, for all intents and purposes, kind of brand new and rebooting, and has not been in existence for a while. So I think one of the things that we need to do is kind of try and find our feet of where we want to emphasize our efforts.
So just with the work that my committee is doing, we're identifying some gaps in terms of services to kids in 17. For example, Demetria, what's the source of your books for the book fair?
Okay, so the books that I have already came from Book Fairies, which is in Freeport, Long Island.
Okay.
And we also are able to, and I'm going back to pick up some more books from that source. So we have, I think, about 400 books. And so I'm going to pick up more books so that each bag that we give out, we can put at least 3 or 4 books in each bag, along with the bookmarks and the other information that's connected to literacy.
So especially with regards to literacy, we have some community resources that are available through Scholastic. And one of the things that I think is a real challenge with remote learning is that a teacher isn't able to observe a student at the precipice of moving to the next level. For example, if you're in the 4th grade, you have like different book levels, P, Q, R, and you could have someone that's emerging Q, but because you can't actually see that query or that inquisitiveness or that ability when a child is reading in the classroom, and there are particular questions that you ask a student, and it depends on the teacher's ability to tease it out whether or not they're available. So I say all of this in that making sure that you can have those different levels of books available to a student, especially during a break. That's the perfect opportunity to quote unquote push a learner, because they'll be home and perhaps their parents will be able to help them. And another thing too is maybe seeing if you can include, or if it's available, because we'll make this a joint endeavor, a book for a parent, because one of the ways that you make sure that a child is a reader is that that child is mirroring their parent reading as well too.
So I do have some books for parents, but I don't have a lot, like a wide variety. So I am trying to get some books for parents, but I don't have a lot. In terms of the level, I printed, so I can, it's going to be hard. I can't test every child when they come to pick up their.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
I can kind of ask what grade they are in and use list of printing.
And maybe if you guys want to incentivize people to come at a particular time for the book giveaway, maybe we can see if Greenlight Bookstore would give a gift card of some sort, so that a child could get that. That would be a great idea, and that would try and tie in we have a quote unquote local vendor, and it's great to have an independent bookstore, but how does that interact with the quote unquote average student? And when you have income loss in the time of the pandemic, a lot of people won't consider buying books, because I find the whole library borrowing process a little bit arduous.
Mhm.
Combined with remote learning, because I've seen parents in remote learning. OMG.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really hard. I did have the Greenlight Bookstore on my list to ask them for donations, so I can pursue that between now and before we actually have the event.
Okay.
I have a scholastic code that I can share. I guess I can share that code. I can type it probably on a little paper and put it in a bag. It's a code for digital.
That would be good.
Yeah, that I
And
can share that. It's for sixth graders though. I can probably share that with sixth graders. I have to look into it and see how many kids can use it, but I'll look into that using that code.
And I don't know how much or how little the Brooklyn Public Library staff is working, but maybe you can reach out to the community affairs person and see if they can provide any supplemental information.
Yeah, and we had them at a meeting. I think
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
Yeah, we
2 meetings ago. They were participating as well.
Okay.
We sent 2 emails to them, so we're waiting for a response. I was also asking from them if they could share some pencils. They can share an updated calendar so the students in the community know what's going on in terms of literacy. And what else did she say? She said she has gift bags. So I did write an email and request those items already.
Demetria, do you have a contact at Greenlight?
I don't, but I know there's a new one on Flatbush. Well, it's not that new, on Flatbush Avenue, not too far. So
Yeah.
that's the one that I was going to go to.
And I know the owner, Rebecca. So maybe I'll why don't I reach out to her, see if she wants to participate.
Okay, thank you.
There is a bookstore that's closing. I don't know if it's closed already in Manhattan. And it was a big one. Does anybody remember the name of that store?
Borders.
I want to say I'm sorry?
It was Borders, Big Borders. They went out of business, but that's a few years back.
No, this one,
Oh, and you
I
mean
wanna
talking
say
about
it was more Strands.
Strand, yeah, Strand. Strand went out of business.
Oh, it was them.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know if they finished that process or not. Do you think their books are fit the age group that we're looking for?
No idea what happened, where that is.
Okay.
What is the name? Strand? I can contact them.
STRAND, Strand.
Okay, because maybe they have books for the parents that we could use. And
Oh, okay. I wasn't even thinking about that. Okay. Because it was a big one. It's been around for a while.
Okay, I'll call them tomorrow and see if they have any books left over to donate.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I think generally this is a worthwhile effort to support learners in our community, and so even if this this is not a one-off, right? Maybe this is something that repeats for a future pre-break period as well. So please, committee members, keep that in mind. And there's a couple of other contacts that I may have, people who kind of work in publishing, who may be able to contribute more books. I think it's a worthwhile effort. All right, let's move on from this topic. Let's see, just keep an eye on the time. We typically schedule from 7 to 9 or 7 to 8:30. We did get a little bit of a late start, but let's just truck on, okay? next topic is a subcommittee social media that was run by Dexter Roberts. Dexter is not on the call today, so I think we're just going to move this forward to our next meeting. I'm going to move on to the next topic, the principal and school outreach. This is something I'd like to get done this month, if possible, and perhaps this is a point or an area of collaboration with CB8 as well. And I'm not sure to what extent CB8 outreach to schools and principals has taken place. Sharon, the committee here talked about having a survey, having some outreach done to the local schools to get a better sense of where the real pressure points are, where real pain points for the schools are, to understand how where the committee should focus its efforts. Has CB8 done anything in that regard?
At our last meeting, we actually discussed doing just the very same thing, but we have not gotten past the drafting stage of the query.
Okay. Yeah, I just started to draft something today, Beverly. I sent that over to you, and so Sharon, is this something that your committee perhaps wants to participate in? We might as well
Surely.
just align it, right, and then
Right,
send
we
it
can
out
collaborate.
to both.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. So what I'd like to suggest is I have a first kind of very crude start of of some questions. And what I'd like to do is send that out in a separate shared document to committee members to chime in and to really get a very broad, broad strokes attempt at the kinds of questions that we should be asking our principals. And the way I was looking at it was from really going very broad, trying to understand what challenges they faced in the past, meaning from the period from March up until the summer or so, what challenges they're facing now, fall into winter, and what challenges they anticipate when moving forward. And obviously that could range the gamut from policy to very practical concerns around staffing level, staff training, parent support, tech, etc. And so I think we can craft a survey that tries to capture all of those items, and then with enough opportunity for principals to chime in on anything we don't mention. In my experience, the more it can be spelled out, the better it is. I don't think people generally want to have to type a whole lot if they can just kind of click what their concerns are and they'll be able to indicate quickly where their issues are.
Correct. Yeah.
Is everybody okay with that if I send that out to committee members and including CBA to collectively draft?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that this week. One second, I'll take some notes. All right. Next topic, subcommittee spelling bee. I actually don't have the names here in front of me. Who was responsible for the spelling bee? And is that something we should
Beverly's
discuss?
on the committee. Beverly's on the committee. From what I remember correctly, we were supposed to we're supposed to be having a CB9 spelling bee in April, but this month we were supposed to begin the discussion.
Okay, so why don't we just pin this for now, and I can nudge the committee members who had signed up for that subcommittee to do some offline conversations and planning.
Consider me nudged, and I will begin.
All right, I'm just rolling up. If I remember correctly, Lorianne, was she the other person? I'm just looking up for a second.
I will help with the spelling bee. I'll join the committee.
There we go. It was Mr. Roberts, Demetria, Lorianne, and myself. Okay. So I think we just need to do some offline, planning in this first, and then we can bring this back to the committee.
So just FYI, I don't know if everybody else received a copy, but I reached out to Khalid, and he sent me a list of schools that we could reach out to. If everybody don't already have a copy, I'm more than happy to share. So Khalid won't be doing double work. That's where I am.
Okay.
Just let me know what you guys would like for me to do. Share, reach out to Khalid on your own. I don't have a problem with either.
Yep.
And Beverly, I put this in the chat to you. Community Board 8 was going to do a spelling bee, but they decided not to execute one for this year. So if you need anything about the mechanics of a spelling bee, I have a binder for you.
Oh, that'll be great. Thank you. And I have a question as to why you chose not to move forward.
Because it would probably have to be executed in a virtual environment. We wanted to make sure that, you know, fairness and honesty could prevail, and there was no way we would be able to moderate that, to be able to look at that. So if we talk about doing a spelling bee, we can begin to introduce a curriculum at the end of the year, because Lord knows school should open eventually, to prepare them for the event for next year.
In addition to the binder, can we also discuss some of the dishonesty things that you
Sure.
Considered offline, please?
Yes, ma'am. We can do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and we can move this forward and discuss this in more detail at the February meeting. I think this committee, at least initially, thought it'd be at least, you know, given the current circumstances, to have some event, even in a virtual environment. I think we all agree that that some things are definitely not as good as in virtual as they are in person. But you know, we kind of have to, you know, make do with what we have. But that's great, Sharon. We look forward to learning a little bit from you there. All right.
So before we move forward, Riel, are we okay
Sure.
with the April deadline, and are we okay with what just starting the action now? Everybody on this call is okay with that?
Well, I'd say we just need the people who signed on to that subcommittee need to
Okay.
have some offline conversation to decide whether the April deadline still works.
Okay, cool, no problem.
Okay. All right. Topic 11. Other projects to finish the calendar year. I think that's the major final topic of our evening. Naomi, you started to say something about other, you know, other ideas for the committee for high school students.
Yes, I did. One of the things that I know that we do have a community college in our community, right? But I just wanted to know, for our high school students, do we have anything in place, or could we put in place something where there's a virtual college fair for some children who want to ongo in their education? I think that would probably be a good thing, because number one, when a lot of people, they don't think about college, they don't think about the importance of entry into college until they're a senior, and sometimes you have to do it, you know, when you're a freshman, to get all your information. So I mean, it could be our first one, but I would think that that would be important to anyone who wants to continue their education in you know, for college.
Beverly, did the youth committee say anything about college fairs? I know they in a normal year they would have their youth fair, right?
So that conversation came up, but it seemed like people were backing away from it because their plates were full. There was someone there who wanted to incorporate job opportunity with Black History Month. They wanted to make it one culminated event, which sounded really nice. But the chair and many of the meeting members weren't on board because they felt their plates were already too full. Did I interpret that properly, Ada?
No, yes, but there also was a gentleman there from Historical Black College and University who has a fair in February, and he wanted to partner with us. And I know that's actually he would basically take the lead because it's something he does all the time. He even sent us a link, I think, to look at what he's done in the past. So that's something that I know they're considering, either partnering with him or seeing what he does.
And for my 2 cents, guys, I thought, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying our plates are any less full, but I thought the idea that he put out there, especially was a good one. And I really did. And if we are properly motivated, we would be able to do it. But that's just my 2 cents. I'm just saying. This is the early riser. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was at that meeting too for the youth committee. I think the idea of the APC night.
Oh, Nick is talking to somebody else, I think.
Yeah, and they did go
is
and
there-
check his neck, and then I think it's something. It's not requiring too much.
Can we mute him?
Yeah,
Rio, can
please.
you mute him?
Khalid, I cannot. WebEx is not. Oh, you know what? I probably can. I think Khalid already did it for me. Thank you. Not that familiar with WebEx. Okay. Yeah, I wonder who else is doing this already. Is the local community college? Is the local high school? Are they doing any of these things already?
Yeah, colleges. I'm sorry, are you referring to colleges in general right now in the virtual space?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're definitely still doing participating in college fairs at this time. It's just, well, for me personally, we're in admission season, so we're a little busy. But I mean, if we're doing anything, I can always just chime on, and we have a recruitment specialist. I'll definitely make him aware. I work at BMC, by the way. For those of you
Can I
that
ask you something? Is as a result of the COVID, are kids having a harder time getting information in regards to college admissions?
we have a lot of information we share daily. We've actually changed the way we do our daily operations. There's no reason that they shouldn't be able to get the information that they need at this point.
No. I don't mean from you to them, because there are some kids, they rely on the school that they're in to be able to access the colleges, whether it's community or 4-year. So, and because school is now virtual and everything is coming at them via computer, are they overwhelmed, inundated, whatever? That's why I ask, are they having a harder time, or are they just overwhelmed? They don't know where to start.
Well, we have all types, because we know unequal as it is. So you have some students that are more abreast to the process, what they need to do, and then you have those that are not. And just triage, and we just help, and we just do the best that we can to be able to help whomever. So we definitely have a large influx of folks that are maybe just putting in their application and the deadline already passed. But I can speak to you more. Forgive me. Because I know, Reels, you said that we have, that was the last topic, but I didn't get to report on the specialized high school admissions. I know I came on a little later, and it was like a delay.
You know what, Melanie, I apologize. You are correct. It is in front of me because that was one of the tentative items we had put on the calendar as well, right? A special high school information session for February.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
The thing about it is the Dream had just, I don't know what they got going on. I mean, my daughter's in the Dream program and she chimes on. So There's a specific point person in charge of that, and they said that they contacted them, but they haven't contacted me as yet, unfortunately. So my update is not a whole lot. I just wanted to make sure I shared the update.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, because it's not clear yet what the admission process looks like for this year.
Well, they're actually going to do it in person. They actually have the students going in person on January 27th. We're going to see what that looks like. The deadline actually is the 15th of this month for students to sign up, for parents to sign their kids up to participate in the specialized high school test. And yeah, it's apparently supposed to be in person on the 27th. We'll see how that goes. I've had my daughter remote. That's a whole nother subject. But yeah, that's where that stands. So that's
yeah, okay. Because that would make a February specialized high school information session moot, no?
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Because
I mean, it would make it certainly moot for this year. It would not make it moot for future students.
so the registration for
Can
the
I
free
say
chat
something?
is
I need to
until
write
January
that down.
15th, and then the testing is going to begin on the 27th.
the deadline to register is the 15th. Yes, and
Yes.
the test date is the 27th.
Right.
The difference this year, it's not centralized. It's going to be given as the school itself.
What you saying?
It's not centralized.
That's
Because
correct.
normally
Taking
they
it
used to be
individually.
at Brooklyn Tech at some of the major high schools. They're not going to do that. The kids will be taking the test at their own school.
Yes.
There was an article about that I've read. So it's not going to be ran outside Brooklyn Tech for them to come in. So they're going to take the test directly in the specific school they are affiliated with.
This is Naomi again. I think that one of the things that we should do as a team and as a committee, anything that has, like, let's say their deadline is like extremely close or we couldn't get in contact with, we should always circle back for the next time, because sometimes the information, once it gets thrown at us, it's like in a rush, and if you can't get to it at the time, then it's unfortunate for people just hearing the information. So I think for the future, as long as we're on this committee, we just keep notes of what's going on throughout the year, so we can start to prepare ourselves or people that we know in the community of what they want to do. So if you wanted to go to a specialized high school, my kids are not in high school yet, but I'm just saying to prepare myself that, look, I want my son to go to a specialized high school. I have to do X, Y, and Z to get there. And sometimes because we don't have that information, or people have it and already did it, they feel it's null and void. But for myself, I like to give that information or keep in mind when the deadline is, because the next time I could be more prepared, or whoever or people in the community could be more prepared to go to that specialized high school or go to that specialized junior high or college or whatever. Because right now, even though we're in a pandemic, people are still getting the information that they want or that they need, depending on who you are.
I know for me, even as a parent with a child that's in the program, I didn't know they were still trying to have that test, especially this month and especially in person. So a lot of things have been preliminary. And I know this is a conversation. I don't know how long the committee's been talking about this particular thing. But I know that last month was the same thing. We were still waiting on information. So I know we wanted to do this on purpose to be able to share with the community. So it's like, the information just hasn't been coming in.
Right. But I would agree that even although those dates don't really align, there's still value in having these information sessions, right? There's younger kids, right? That might be a year out, and we don't need to wait until it's just only a month out, right? I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Melanie, my recommendation would be is that we just move forward to figuring out what would be a productive way to provide this information in what form or what format to the community, and we set that tentatively for February. Perhaps the timing is not urgent that it needs to be February. It could be March, right? But let's just move forward and putting a plan together for an information session on that topic.
Yeah, I think it'll still be good because students take the test for the kids in the 8th and 9th grade. So
Right.
preparation is still good for the next year. And
Right.
I found out about this program because my daughter was eligible for it. Otherwise, I had no idea. And I definitely didn't take it as a student because I
Sure.
wasn't eligible.
No, look, and that's generally a good point, right? That people don't know, right? And so now middle school applications are open, right? They're open this week, and lots of parents are not familiar with this the separate thing that at some point they might want to consider for their middle school student.
Also for pre-K, for pre-K and 3K, they're getting ready to open up their admissions also. So if you have a child who is in that in that age group, and you don't know the deadline, or maybe because the kid age is in that funny month where they be like, well, you might have to wait, or if you earlier. So I just think that, like I said again, if even whatever the date or the deadline is, just still have the information for the people so they can know what to prepare for if they miss that set date or go to the school and get admission to it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Melanie. So just returning to the college the college info sessions. Okay, I think the committee can decide whether this is something that we feel is worthwhile exploring. Right now we, are in terms of our kind of activities and events, we obviously have the book giveaway. We talked about the specialist high school information session, a spelling bee in, April, Mayish. So I would agree with Beverly that, probably have some bandwidth to do something else if we feel it's worthwhile.
Rio, you're waiting for a response from us regarding.
Yeah, how do folks feel?
I'm
Is there
sorry,
something, sure. Is it something that we want to take on? And so, in prior meetings as well, we talked about wanting to fill out the calendar further. The college info session.
Oh yes, I'm in. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were waiting for. I'm in, but
Yeah.
you know that though. So yeah.
Well, so here's my opinion, and I'd like to hear others thoughts. I think we should focus on getting this assessment out to our schools, and get some information from our schools, and then based on that, make a decision of where we want to put our efforts.
Okay.
Because I think there are endless worthwhile efforts, right? That is not to dismiss, that a college fair effort would be useless. I think it's all of it is useful. But if we
Yes.
want to, we have limited time, let's really just make sure we get to our schools and get some information from our principals, and then, spend our effort there. That's my opinion.
Since we're still in
I agree.
the process of identifying what our real purpose is, right?
Yeah, I mean, the mission statement was set, right? But within that, we still need to set priorities for the year, and I'd say if we're an education committee, let the schools guide us.
Right.
I would
exercise.
also,
Thank you.
I would also say, sorry, Beverly, sorry, early riser. I would.
That's okay.
I also wanted to add that maybe you should have something where it's like an open survey, not something that's guided by us. Let's say, for example, let it be open to let suggestions or some type of form in regards to what their needs are, because sometimes people don't react well when you push what you believe is their need. So I guess once I guess once the school or the principal or whoever we get in contact with the needs of the school, we should also find out from the parents what they might need, or just people in general in the community, because everybody needs something different. You know, you have some people who need their rent paid. I mean, I'm not saying we could provide rent, but you know, maybe there's something that we can direct them in the way that they need to go to, you know. So
Right.
I'm just saying, like, you know, you don't want to press what you believe the needs are, but let them tell you what the needs, and then we can fulfill it within that and within our calendar.
Understood. Okay, so any other comments? Is that so? So, what are other people's thoughts on that? Should we just focus on getting some more pertinent information from our schools?
I thought it was. I don't know. I'm sorry to be perplexed. I guess I was just thinking about what you said about looking to see what the schools say their needs are, and if we present that, and say this is the response that we receive from schools, because that's how I'll tell you, there are schools that are definitely diligent about this and really working for their students, and then there are those that just don't.
Right. Okay.
Hey, Melanie, do you know who those schools are who just don't?
Oh no, I wouldn't. So
I mean, not to just blast them. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean it like that. But I'm kind of like, well, if we know there's somebody falling down, let's just skip straight to them. You know, that's what I'm thinking. But it would be kind of blasting them in a negative light. So forget I asked that. Sorry about that.
No, listen, Miss Beverly. Look, there are a lot of schools that need a lot of love. Let's just say.
I like that. Yeah.
They need a lot of love, because you can have people that want to work in the school, but because of the cliques and because of the negativity in the school, they can't get anything done, and the children suffer in the process. So we can, like I said, you can attack what the school needs, but also what the parents might need also, because we might have some illiterate parents that don't know how to help with their children or certain things like that, and you don't want to make anyone feel, you know, because their child goes through, because some people don't even know what specialized schools is in their area. They just go to the school because that's down the block from my house, or that, you know, it's more convenient for me. And then
that's how we was raised.
You know,
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah,
so I'm not, you know, I'm just speaking about me. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm just speaking about me. So, or it's convenient close to my job, you know. So we want to make sure that we just deal with, like you said, we can deal with what the assessment is, but there's some other assessments that might not be answered that we can also help too in love.
Sure.
So
and I think we can, you know, so let's focus on getting an assessment, you know, together that tries to hit the right balance. Obviously, there's many different things, or piece of information we can reach for, and I think we just have to be careful not to go too broad. But I think, you know, collectively we can come up with a strong survey, and perhaps our friends at CB8 will be able to participate in that design, and we'll come up with something solid.
A question for the assessment, if I may.
Sure.
Can you work with the principal to get a little bit of the parent also feedback survey?
Nicholas, that was very hard to understand. Could you repeat that?
I said, can you work with the principal to include some parents' voice in the survey?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so let's add all those comments in the collaborative document that I'll send around. But I would agree with that, Nick, that the principals can include a parent's voice somehow.
And Mr. Real, I will also believe the parent coordinator, because the parent coordinator knows more than the principal. I promise you. Promise you, I'm not, and
Mhm.
I'm not, and I
Yeah.
don't mean that in a, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that they might feel more comfortable telling the parent coordinator to give them the information on what they need, as far as not going to the principal unless it's an academic matter.
Yeah. We could consider, I mean, this would make it a pretty detailed and comprehensive survey, but we could consider a conditional survey, right? That says at the beginning, are you A, right? If you're a parent, you get this set of questions. If you are a parent
Right.
coordinator, and then there's overlap between them, right? So you can
Right.
get a very broad section of responses. Okay,
I
so
love
let's do
it.
this work.
I love it.
Let's start this work. I'll get something together as early as tomorrow, so we can start designing that collectively.
Okay.
I would like to move on. We have a handful of minutes left, but I'd like to give a little bit of time to Sharon if there's anything else from CBA that you'd like to share with us.
Actually, no, not at this time. I think just in terms of the things that we're similarly on track with, I think I've contributed during the course of the meeting.
That's
Just,
great. I appreciate
just
that.
knowing that we'll have myself or someone else participating in the meetings for the remainder of the year.
That's great, Sharon, and I'll do my best to reciprocate. Actually, I'd love to understand or to get a sense of what your committee's up to. Thank you for joining today.
No way.
Ada, anything from you?
No, just if you have quorum, are you going to vote on the minutes?
What an excellent point. And we have 3 minutes left, so we can circle back. And, so I did quickly look. There are, in fact, the October and November minutes. The December minutes from Melanie were not distributed yet. So we can, in fact, vote on the October and November minutes if members are ready to do so. Those were the ones that were sent out by Mia, I want to say, late last week.
Yes. Forgive me, I know we had moved on and wanted to do the minutes, but I just want to put it out there that I'm very excited to move forward with Jackie Robinson Day this year.
April.
I want to put that out there before we leave.
Can we have a book giveaway at the Jackie Robinson Day as well? Can we give out books there? What's going to be happening at Jackie Robinson Day?
I love that. I'll get more books by that time.
Yeah, that could be a second date for us.
Okay. Let's set that. Why don't we discuss that at a February meeting?
Okay.
Are members able to vote on the October and November minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
So let's start with the October minutes. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes as proposed, as written?
Make a motion to accept the minutes for October and November, or just?
We'll do them separately. For October.
I make a motion to accept the minutes for October 2019.
Any second?
Second.
October 2020.
2020, yes. Second of Beverly. Any okay. Is there any I should have asked this before, are there any corrections to those minutes that I should be aware of that we should include in our vote? But then the wrong order. Okay, so let's proceed for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Abstained? Okay. 1 second. The November minutes. Are there any corrections to those minutes that we should be aware of? Okay, can I get a motion to accept the minutes as written?
Oh, motion to accept the minutes as they've been presented.
Can I get a second? Who was the second, mime?
Melanie.
Thank you, Melanie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Abstain? Okay. Motion carries. Okay, great. Thank you, Ada, for that reminder. Ada, did you have anything else for us?
No, not a problem. I'm really excited to hear some of the things that you're involved with. And if you can collaborate with youth on some things, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Good. Well, again, thank you very much for joining. I'm sorry for the tech hiccups at the beginning of the meeting. I think you all already have the February link now because that's the one you were sent originally. So we'll be able to be right out of the gate at 7:01 next time. Thank you again to Ada and Sharon for joining us today. Happy New Year, everybody. It's been a crazy 11 days or 12 days in 2021, right? So let's hope that by the time we meet in February, the things are a little calmer. And we don't have to be subjected to so many crazy news stories every day. Happy New Year, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
Have a
See
good
you
week,
next
Good
month.
everybody.
night. Happy New Year.
Bye.
New Year.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.